What's up guys, Jimmy here with another Lots of Games video. I'm going to be doing an E3 wrap up for you guys. I know a lot of you guys already had the chance to watch the press conferences and presentations. We had Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft. I am so stoked. I am so excited. So as you've seen from the title of the for this video, E3 2014, who won? In all honesty, it was the gamers. It was the gamers that won. Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, they brought great, sweet, unbelievable games. And honestly, fans for Nintendo or fans from Sony or fans from Microsoft, they could literally argue for years on who won because I was just so impressed with these conferences. I'm going to go over with you guys what I thought about this. I'm going to just a breakdown of the presentations with you guys, and I was just really, really, really impressed. Some of you guys might have not been as impressed as I was, and perhaps for one reason or another, maybe some of the games just didn't quite appeal to you. You had the big three, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, and then you had, of course, EA had a presentation, Ubisoft has a presentation. Ubisoft didn't really have a whole lot of new stuff that I was interested in. One of the big things that they did talk about was how there is going to be a Rainbow Six game in the not too distant future. It was going to be Rainbow Six Patriots, I believe. And of course Ubisoft showed The Division, which was throughout E3, which looks unbelievable. I will go over that. But EA Games, before I get into the big three, EA Games, of course, went over Mirror's Edge, Star Wars Battlefront. They talked about Mass Effect 4, the next Mass Effect installment. Honestly, one of the things I was most impressed with EA's press conference was the brief trailer or video footage talking about the next Criterion game. They're the folks that are responsible for the Burnout series. They've got it's an unannounced racing game which you're not just racing in cars and motorcycles, but there's going to be helicopters, there's going to be boats, all types of vehicles. The game is very early stage. I'm glad they showed it because the game looks very fun. But anyway, Ubisoft, EA, they're going to have great games in the next, not too distant future. And some of those games are actually I'm going to talk about in this. But let's start off with the first press conference that I saw. That was yesterday morning, and that was Microsoft. Last year, Microsoft, they had a few bumps and bruises, but oh man, did they show the game. Phil Spencer, who's at the head of Xbox right now, a lot of people are saying that he's the Dark Knight for Xbox. He is in it to win it, and that's what he has said. He is a gamer. Make no mistake about that. Phil Spencer is a gamer, and some of the choices he makes, maybe some of the stockholders might kind of be scratching their head going, why is he doing that? And a lot of the gamers will be looking at what Phil Spencer's doing going, I know exactly what he's doing. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Phil Spencer, he took the stage. First game for Microsoft, and a lot of people weren't happy about this, but they did show some of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Sledgehammer is working on this title. War in the future. I know there's still a lot of great potential in this series. I know people feel that the series is done, but who knows? It is possible. Think about, my favorite Call of Duty game is Call of Duty 4. And when they first announced Call of Duty 4, I was like, another Call of Duty game. But it was great. Who knows? You never know. Next, Dan Greenwald took the stage. He's basically there when there's a new Forza title. And he talked about Forza 5 on how that there'd be a new track, new DLC track, and how that day it would be made free. So for all those that had Forza 5, they would get that track for free. And then they had, they took the stage, he handed it over, and they showed off some of Forza Horizon 2. Forza Horizon 2 looks just like a beautiful open world racing game. The interesting thing about this though it's not just going to be for the Xbox One, it's also going to be made available for the Xbox 360. Exclusive to the Xbox brand, but not just for the Xbox One. Because there's a lot of Xbox 360 owners that don't have an Xbox One yet, and are big Forza fans, so that makes sense. Now, also keep in mind, guys, as I go through this, I might miss some games, okay? And please forgive me for if I missed any titles. Please include those in video description. Leave a comment, and also leave a comment on the games that you were impressed most with for E3 so far. Next up, Evolve was shown, which is just going to be a very intense multiplayer shooter. It's going to be a four-player kind of co-op shooter versus the monster or beast, and the player, the fifth player, will have the chance to be the monster, and throughout these maps the monster will have the chance to take down other smaller monsters and creatures and kind of build up or evolve and become stronger and more powerful and more ruthless and dangerous. And that game is, I'm really excited for Evolve. It looks really good. And apparently Evolve is going to have some exclusive DLC or content that's going to be exclusive first to the Xbox One. That one looks good. And speaking of co-op, Assassin's Creed Unity was shown. And that is going to have 4-player co-op, or the opportunity to have 4-player co-op as well. Honestly, guys, Assassin's Creed, I loved Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Having it year after year, I don't know. Is that the smartest move? Not sure. We'll have to wait and see on that. But of course, they do that with Call of Duty too. But they did show off Dragon Age Inquisition, which looks beautiful, looks gorgeous. Definitely interested in learning more about that one. Sunset Overdrive then was shown. We've already seen a little bit of Sunset Overdrive, some gameplay before. Honestly, Sunset Overdrive is one of my favorite games for the show. I don't have an Xbox One right now, and I don't have a Wii U, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. I don't have an Xbox One right now. I'm hoping to get one very, very soon. This is one of the exclusives that I am really looking forward to. I want to get an Xbox One badly. I'm hoping for the funds for that in the not too distant future. And Sunset Overdrive looks like it's just a blast to play. It's my kind of game. It is an open world game with gameplay elements similar to like Mirror's Edge and Jet Set Radio, where you're always moving. And actually in the beginning of the gameplay, or the beginning of the trailer they showed, they kind of poked fun at the third-person shooting mechanic, or third-person cover mechanic. Game looks very colorful, very wacky. I love it. You know, of course there's a lot of serious games out there, but this one just looks like so much fun. It looks funny, and it looks like it has a really nice sense of humor. Sunset Overdrive, one of my top picks for E3. Then we went to Dead Rising 3, the DLC, which looks, again, very wacky, very fun. It has 4-player co-op. Hey, Hagar from Final Fight. I love the Final Fight games. Hagar is one of the, I guess, cosplayer characters or costumes. Not sure exactly what that is, but it looked very wacky, very fun, very tongue-in-cheek. That looked pretty good. 2 music-related games were shown. Kind of lost a little bit of my interest. I'm not really interested in these 2 games. Disney Fantasia, Music Evolved, and Dance Central Spotlight. I'm not sure how many videos I'm going to be doing on Dance Central Spotlight, but moving on, we had Fable Legends. Fable Legends, it looks good. I know it's been a while since Fable 3, and I think there was a Fable anniversary for the 360. I don't know how much excitement or people that are excited for this one. I loved Fable 2. Maybe down the road I would pick that one up on the cheap, Fable Legends. Who knows? They did show off Project Spark, which is a game developing title, which has just a basic tool set that gamers, I guess you could say even more than a basic tool set, where gamers could go in and create their own game. This is a game that's a console exclusive, I believe. It's also going to be available for the PC. And for those that are interested in that type of thing, to create their own type of game, it looks like it has a lot of potential. Then this is one that a lot of people were excited about. Halo the Master Chief Collection. So it's going to include in this collection Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, also Halo 2 Anniversary. So all the Halos in this collection, I believe it's going to be all on one disc, one Blu-ray. All 4 Halo games on one Blu-ray. All of them are going to be HD. Of course, the first 2 Halo games were originally on the original Xbox, and then there was a Halo Anniversary brought to the 360. There's going to be Halo Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, Halo 4, all in one collection. You'll also have the chance to get the Halo 5 beta invited to that, and there's going to be multiplayer goodness for that as well for the Halo collection. Then Microsoft had a collection or montage of indie games, and one of the games that Phil Spencer, he took stage and he had a Limbo shirt on. I guess he's a big fan of Limbo, but the developers of Limbo have a new title which they showed, and it looked pretty good, not too bad. Then there was a trailer for the new Tomb Raider game, a follow-up to the Tomb Raider reboot. It kind of had like a doctor or psychiatrist talking to Laura, and I'm wondering, for any of you guys that had the chance to play through the first Tomb Raider game, I'm wondering if this is kind of like to help her with the, I don't know if it's post-traumatic stress, but all the things she had to go through with the Tomb Raider reboot, which I love that game, by the way. It's one of my top picks for 2013. So the game just came out last year and they already announced a new one, so I'm glad to see it did well enough. I know Square Enix had talked about how they were a little disappointed with the Tomb Raider reboot and how it didn't do as well as expectations, but hey, there's a follow-up to it. Next, we were treated with some really excellent gameplay for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And speaking of Wild Hunt, the gameplay they showed, you were hunting down a griffin, which, by the way, is featured. The griffin is featured. You're fighting the griffin in this statue for the Collector's Edition for The Witcher 3. And that Collector's Edition is pretty massive, pretty mammoth, pretty behemoth. But the gameplay they showed, you're hunting down a griffin, and the game looks sick. Very open world. He's hunting down this griffin, and along the way, he's combating these guys who get in his path, and which reminds me of a lot of these other open world games where you have this main project, or you're focused on this one thing at hand, and then there's other side missions or characters or NPCs that get in your way. But the game looks really, really good. I believe The Witcher 3 is coming 2015. Unfortunately, a lot of great games are coming 2015. There's some good games coming 2014, but we're gonna have to wait, unfortunately, for a lot of these good games. Let's see here. Then they showed, which was a pleasantly surprised. The guy came out in a very casual attire, t-shirt and jeans, who he'd been working in the gaming industry for a very long time. He showed a trailer, introduced a trailer for Phantom Dust, which is an original Xbox exclusive. I had the chance to watch some of the gameplay for the original Phantom Dust on the original Xbox the other day, and some of the levels were like, man, the detail on the ground. I was like, wow, this game looked pretty good for its time. So I'm guessing that's going to be an original Xbox One exclusive. Phantom Dust, and a lot of cult following fans of the series or of that game are probably really excited for that, for a new reboot or installment of the game. Then we are treated to some gameplay for The Division. Ubisoft's The Division, it looks pretty unbelievable. It looks really good detail-wise. I know this course has got a lot of third-person shooting mechanics behind it, co-op, being able to play with your friends, and game looks good. Looks really good. We'll have to wait and see on that and learn some more about that one. Then we were treated to a trailer, kind of like a CGI trailer, I guess you could say, for an Xbox One exclusive, as far as I know. Platinum Games exclusive, or exclusive to the Xbox One, Scalebound. This one looks great. I'm a big fan of Platinum Games. Most of the games that they have, I own, and I absolutely love. I think it was a smart move on Microsoft's part to get them to make an exclusive for them. And we're going to talk about Platinum Games in a little bit. Then we were treated to Crackdown. It was introduced. Now, here's the thing that I want to kind of explain, because I think a lot of gamers were kind of caught off guard. This was shown toward at the end of the conference, and a lot of gamers going like, Crackdown? They showed this at the end. A couple things. Phil Spencer is a big Crackdown fan. I'm a big Crackdown fan as well. It's a very fun, addicting open world game. I didn't like Crackdown 2 as much. I really enjoyed the first one. The person who introduced Crackdown before they showed the trailer is Davis Jones. And he's actually one of the folks that's responsible for the GTA series. Not sure if you know that. Also, he's responsible for the first Crackdown game. This could have a lot of potential. He was not, though, involved in the second Crackdown game. Again, this is a very fun and addicting open world game. Not everyone liked it. I really did, and Phil Spencer did as well. You know, of course, in the trailer, there's no real gameplay shown, but I'm really excited that this one's coming out. Phil Spencer took the stage at the end. He said, "This is just the beginning." I hope a lot of you guys out there that were kind of bummed about last year's E3 for Microsoft saw this one, and I hope you were a little more impressed. I was impressed. I felt that they focused on the game. There wasn't, you know, unnecessary things in terms of what a gamer is interested in, and I was pleased. I was really pleased with their presentation. I thought it was really professional. I thought they did a great job. A lot of great exclusives coming to the Xbox One. Of course, they didn't talk a lot about the Xbox 360. And again, I don't have an Xbox One, but I can't wait to get one. For those of you guys that have seen my Xbox 360 collection, big fan of the 360, big fan of the PS3, and I'm hoping to get an Xbox One very soon. Now, let's talk about Sony's press conference, shall we? In the beginning, they start off with trailer for Destiny, and I don't know if you guys know this, but Destiny currently, it is the top selling or the top pre-ordered game, at least in the United States. Other countries probably maybe might vary, but on the PS4 or all video games, it's the #1 pre-ordered game right now out of all the games that you can pre-order. Destiny is the highest pre-ordered game, and on the PS4, it's going to be a big seller. It's going to be a big deal. A lot of people are really looking forward to it. The alpha is going to be made available in the next day or two, if it's not already available to some folks, and then there's going to be a beta available for Destiny in July, I believe, next month. This is going to be a big game, guys. Really big game. It's done by Bungie, and it has the way the jumping and the reloading of the gun. It looks very Halo-like. But nonetheless, I'm really excited for it. Really excited for Destiny. Then we went and they showed The Order 1886, and this is one that's coming out 2015, unfortunately. And unfortunately, they didn't really show a whole lot of gameplay for The Order. A lot of, you know, story-wise, not a whole lot of shooting. This one's gonna be a big deal, a very big deal, exclusive. For the gameplay, they actually did show, and I have seen gameplay for The Order before, and it's gorgeous. It's really is gorgeous. I want to see more on the game though. Then there was gameplay shown for the indie game Intertwined, and the cool thing about that was this indie game. They showed it off. They're like, by the way, it's available right now for you to download at the PlayStation Store, which I thought that was cool. I like that kind of stuff. I'm going to get Battlefield Hardline. Also yesterday, they're like, hey, by the way, Battlefield Hardline, this is what the game is about. By the way, the beta is available right now. I love that stuff at E3. Several years ago, when Ace Combat 6 was introduced, like, Ace Combat 6 is coming in the fall. By the way, there's a demo on the Xbox Live Marketplace. I love that stuff, and I really wish more developers would do this, whether it's Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. Hey, there's a demo available, or hey, there's an exclusive trailer available. Just turn on your console, download it, check it out. I don't know, I wish there was more of that kind of stuff. Okay, then of course we saw the DLC trailer for Infamous Second Son DLC. which you'll be able to play with the character who... I don't want to say... Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to give any spoilers away. Check out the trailer if you're interested in learning more about the DLC for Infamous Second Son. Love that game, played through it, did a review, loved it. Next up, we were treated to some gameplay for Little Big Planet 3, which looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. This is the thing, though, that caught me off guard. I read in an article, it said for Little Big Planet 3 that you'll be able to play or have access to the other levels that were created in Little Big Planet 1 and 2. I don't know how that's possible. I don't know. Maybe just... I don't know how that's possible because it's a totally different game, better visuals, and the game looks like it's a lot of fun. New characters in the game other than Sackboy. There's a bird. There's a character that can shrink down. Some really cool gameplay mechanics in Little Big Planet 3. Then there was a trailer for From Software, the folks that are responsible for the Demon Souls and Dark Souls series. Both of those. This one apparently, from what I've read, is an Xbox, or this one is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, and that is Bloodborne. A lot of folks are like, those that are fans of the Demon Souls and those that are fans of the Dark Souls, they're like, all right, this is the only game I want to get. I want to get Bloodborne. So we'll have to see more. Very kind of a brief trailer for that. Very dark though. Next up, one of my top picks for the show, Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 demo. I was laughing. This was just, I was laughing throughout the trailer. I'm not sure if I was supposed to, but, or the gameplay they showed. I was just so impressed with Far Cry 4, with what I saw. You got the wingsuit, you got the co-op. When the guy landed in this little chopper, he went like this, and then you have an elephant going around messing with people. It was enjoyable to watch, and the game looks gorgeous. One of my top picks, and it's coming out this year, Far Cry 4. I will be doing a review for that, guys. If that's what I'm planning on doing it, I'll probably be doing a review for that one. I'll play through it on the PS4 and also the PC. It looks great, it looks gorgeous. Okay, then they showed, this was an interesting one at the PlayStation or Sony conference. They showed a trailer for Dead Island 2. You weren't sure what it was because this guy, he was just like dancing, he's dancing to the music, and there's just people getting slaughtered all around him by zombies. So it was kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say a dark humor to it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is it was kind of supposed to be humorous. And the reason why I bring that up is because the very first trailer that was made available, it was a big deal when it was released. The very first trailer for Dead Rising had like this the piano playing. It was very intense, very very serious. And this, and so you've got the first Dead Rising trailer, or sorry, the first Dead Island trailer was very serious, and then you have Dead Island 2, which was very a lot more upbeat, had some kind of dark humor to it. Very interesting, the switch between the perception for that, or the direction they took in those two trailers. Anyway, that's what I thought. Oh yeah, Dead Island 2 will be getting a 30-day beta exclusive, and it's set to PlayStation. So I'm wondering if there will be also a beta for the PS3 and PS4 owners. Not sure about that. Let's see here. Diablo 3 will be getting some The Last of Us themed DLC. And Diablo 3 is coming to the PS4. They then showed some gameplay for Battlefield Hardline, which is going to be done by Visceral, folks who did a great job on the Dead Space series. Then a couple other games they showed. Disney Infinity 2, which will get an exclusive character or two for the PlayStation. And then Magicka 2, which Magic has a cult following. A lot of fans of Magicka. And then this one was interesting because a lot of the crowd went nuts when they announced this. They just kind of cut to the chase here. They showed Tim Schafer, and they're going to do a remastering. It's a game that's 15 years old, Grim Fandango, which has a cult following. A lot of big fans of Grim Fandango. They're remastering it, and they're putting it on PlayStation 4. Then there was a collection of indie titles they showed. Hotel Miami 2, Titan Souls, Broforce. Sony wants to make it clear they're going to continue major support for indie titles. There's no bones about that. And speaking of which, we'll get to in a little bit. Oh yeah, another exclusive coming to PlayStation 4. Very dark game by Suda51, which they do a great job in terms of thinking outside of the box, delivering us something very, very different. And they're going to be bringing us a PlayStation 4 exclusive, Let It Die. Then they showed an underwater adventure game called, am I pronouncing this right, Abzu. And that I have to wait more to see on that for me to kind of like give more of my opinion. Okay, one of the best games for E3 in my opinion, and I think a lot of people agree, one of my top picks, here's another one. No Man's Sky has this, we're not just talking about an open world to explore, we're talking about open worlds and open space to explore. You're on these alien planets with alien grass, alien creatures, you've got dinosaurs or these ancient creatures roaming this planet. And then all of a sudden you turn to your jet or your plane, you hover up, you fly into space, there's space battles, you can go to other planets to explore. This, I don't know how they're going to be able to finish this project. This looks very, very ambitious, but a lot of people are excited for this, me included. It's one of my top picks, No Man's Sky, which I guess is an indie title from what I've seen. It's not like a game that's going to have a budget of $100 million. This is something special, but it looks really good. Let's see here. Oh, then they went to the PlayStation camera in Project Morpheus. They talked about the Morpheus a bit and how there'd be a couple demos available on the show floor. YouTube is coming to the PS4. There'll be a PS4 app for YouTube where you'll have a chance to not just share your gameplay, to Facebook, but you'll also be able to upload your gameplay to YouTube, which is pretty good. Now, towards the end, for a little while, Sony kind of slipped up a bit. The first 60-70%, maybe more, was super strong, super aggressive, and they started to kind of go into TV and other little things. They started to kind of lose the crowd, but they did talk about a lot of different free-to-play games like PlanetSide 2, War Thunder, Guns Up, Seeing Monsters, and PlayStation Now is currently available in the beta form. I know a lot of people want to be able to try that out for their PS4. Vita games were talked about, so I'm glad they totally haven't abandoned the Vita. Before the Vita was released, the Vita is a great handheld system for games that aren't available anywhere else. And so I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Vita. We'll have to wait and see. There's also Vita TV, which is going to be released in the fall, I believe. Then what got the crowd really going is they started to show a montage or a collection of gameplay for Mortal Kombat 10. The crowd just was going nuts. You can tell a lot of folks in the fan are big Mortal Kombat fans. A couple games, I guess you could say an improvement from the original in terms of visuals. You have The Last of Us coming a remaster to the PS4 in July. And then you have GTA 5, which is also coming to the PS4. And I think a lot of people were expecting GTA 5 was going to come to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC, which people are really excited about. They showed trailers at the Sony conference for Metal Gear Solid 5 and Batman Arkham Knight. Unfortunately, Batman Arkham Knight has been pushed to 2015, which is cool. They want to make sure they get it right. It is kind of a bummer, though, because the game looks pretty sick. And then finally, the final game that was shown, or finally trailer that was shown at the Sony conference, was a trailer for Uncharted 4 Thief's End. And as far as the details for the face, it reminded me of the quality of the CGI that was in some of the cutscenes for Crysis 3. And Crysis 3 is a game, it would be interesting to see how well Crysis 3 would run on the PS4, Xbox One, like how good they could get it. I'm not sure, but the quality for Uncharted 4 in terms of visuals, the actual gameplay, we haven't seen yet. But I'm sure it's going to be really good. Naughty Dog, they know how to make great games. And it'll be really interesting to see what takes place with Uncharted 4. Of course, Nathan Drake, he's back. People weren't exactly sure which direction they were going to take, because when the new Uncharted game was revealed for the launch of the PlayStation 4, it didn't say Uncharted 4. So people weren't sure who was going to be in that game. So overall, I was really impressed with the PlayStation or Sony conference. You know, I have a PS4. I really enjoy the lineup or what's going to be coming out for that console. Next, let's go out to Nintendo's digital presentation. I was really impressed with Nintendo. Man, they really brought the games. Some good stuff, some good innovation, lots of great exclusives. I don't have a Wii U, but man, do I want one now? Absolutely. They had a very lengthy, this digital presentation was only around 45 minutes long, but a big chunk of that was to talk about Smash Bros. For the 3DS and the Wii U. And the game looks really good. It looks really good. And the interesting thing about this is you can fight with Miis now, but also, make sure I'm saying this right, Amiibo or Amiibo. It's like Skylanders or Disney's Infinity in the sense that you got these characters, and instead of putting it on a portal with that character you bought, that little toy, it'll go onto the screen. But instead of putting it on a portal, you put it on the game screen pad for the Wii U. And it has a sensor, and it recognizes it. And not only does that character go onto there, these skills that you obtain with this character will get saved on that character. So if you go to another friend's house, it'll recognize your character in the skill set or the skills that you've developed. So I'm guessing it's kind of got like a memory that the type of memory you'd find in USB, but it's done wirelessly. And so kind of interesting. And not so they wanted to stress though the difference between the Amiibos and like Skylanders or Disney Infinity was that these characters you get are going to be featured in a lot of different games. A couple of which is going to be Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and also already Mario Kart 8. But they're working on a bunch of games for these characters. Interesting side note that I learned this from Kotaku. When Skylanders, before it even got released, they approached the folks that were developing the game, I think at Activision, they approached, or the publisher, they approached Nintendo and said, hey, we want you to be part of this Skylanders game, have your Nintendo characters in it. And Nintendo, wasn't too sure about this. They ended up not pulling the trigger and going with it. And to date, Skylanders has been out for a few years, 2 to 3 years, and it's sold. It's either 100 million characters or toys, or 200 million characters. It's over $1 billion business. That's why Disney's like, holy cow, we got to do this, Disney Infinity. So Nintendo's doing it now, and I think it's a really smart move. And there's not a whole lot of characters right now, but imagine what they could do with the Pokemon characters and I know Pokemon is ultra popular on the 3DS, but I'm not sure how they're going to expand if that Amiibos is going to be also available for the 3DS, if that would have a portal or some type of sensor that they could use to do that. I'm not sure if it's just going to be a Wii U exclusive. I think we'll have to wait and see at how popular this is. So then Reggie, he was up there. So this is a pre-recorded presentation. It was done very well, very professional. And Reggie, he talked about his background, how his first video game he ever played was Super Mario World, how he beat the game with 99 lives, and how he still has that game card to this day. And he talked about Nintendo. It's all about fun, and it's all about great gameplay. And he said, now we're going to show you some games that's going to be coming to Nintendo. And he did a great job. One of the first games that was shown was Yoshi's Woolly World. And in this, they wanted to make it clear that this just wasn't a copy of Kirby's Epic Yarn. And the game looked really fun. It had two-player co-op they could do, where you could actually eat the second player. And so you pop the second player into kind of like a little Yoshi egg, and you could shoot him into a direction or a location. I was a big fan of the Yoshi title. I can't believe Yoshi's Island for the SNES. I love that one. Big fan. This one looks great. I love the art direction for this one. Next up, they showed Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That one looks like it just very simple, very basic, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun. Then they showed a new Legend of Zelda game. And they talked about how early on, the first Legend of Zelda game, you had this huge open world for you to explore and check out. And they said one of the challenges they've had that once it hit 3D was keeping that open space or open scope that you had in the first Zelda game, and in how the first Zelda games, and in how even with Wind Waker, that it wasn't really open world. And so then they showed the open world for the new Legend of Zelda game, and it looked beautiful. It looked really nice. The game has a really nice cel-shaded look to it. It looks unbelievable. It looks great. And it's funny because he said, by the way, those mountains that you can see in the background, you can go visit, check out those too. Which I remember seeing the first ever demo or video for Elder Scrolls Skyrim, and I remember the guy doing the presentation said, by the way, those mountains you see off in the far distance, you can visit those. So a lot of people are saying, oh, the Legend of Zelda is just going to be the Legend of Zelda, Elder Scrolls, or Skyrim. But, you know, honestly, I'm wondering where the Elder Scrolls series would be, you know, the people that developed that. If I know Zelda and Elder Scrolls are totally different, but Zelda helped pave the way with a lot of different game genres and gamers to kind of have a passion for gaming. Then they showed two games that are coming to the 3DS, two Pokemon games, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And so those games are going to sell a bajillion copies. Next up, they showed for the Wii U Bayonetta 2. And the cool thing about this, the game looked great, but then they went on to say on how Bayonetta, the first Bayonetta game, is included in that package. You get two games for the price of one. And plus, in the first Bayonetta game that you're getting, you get to dress up Bayonetta in all these different characters. That game is going to be really important. There is a cult following. I keep saying that word, but again, another top pick is Bayonetta 2. So much fun. The first Bayonetta game is one of my favorite games from Xbox 360, and I'm sure when I get a Wii U, and I'm really hoping to get one of those soon, I'm sure Bayonetta 2 will probably be one of my favorite Wii U games. Next up, they talked, the folks, one or two guys from Nintendo, one or two guys from the developers who were responsible for the Dynasty Warriors series, and they went over Hyrule Warriors. And so it's very similar to Dynasty Warriors, but it has a lot of all these different players from the Zelda universe. And it looked really good. I kind of wish that they didn't show that after the new Zelda game, because the new Zelda game is just this amazing HD game, and they showed Hyrule Warriors, and it didn't look as good, but you know, graphics aren't everything, and we've got hundreds and thousands of guys in these battles. I understand if the visuals aren't going to be as good as the new Zelda game. But the cool thing about this one is there is a co-op in the game, but it is not meant to be played split screen, in the sense that for Hyrule Warriors, if you have a friend at your house and they have a standard gamepad or controller, they will see just them on the screen, and they can go different areas and fight enemies. And then you've got the gamepad, you can play on your gamepad or your second screen. Pretty cool, pretty good. Next up, they showed Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. A lot of people are really excited about that one. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I believe that one's coming 2015. So again, there's a lot of great games coming 2015. Then they showed Xenoblade Chronicles X, and after, so they showed a lot for this one, as mainly a lot of cutscenes for this trailer. But after the presentation on Twitch, the Nintendo Twitch channel, they were playing the heck out of this game. I was like, yeah, some sweet gameplay. A lot of people were really excited about this one. Just a beautiful RPG. And so, yeah, that one looks great. They showed Mario Maker. We'd be able to develop your own different Mario levels. This is one that a lot of people have been hoping to play for a very long time, imagining, oh man, if I can make my very own Mario levels, what could I do? Looks great. Then they kind of took a decent amount of time for the next Nintendo exclusive, Splatoon. I'm going to get this right for you guys. It is an 8-player 4-on-4 online multiplayer action game. But it looks like a shooter to me, where basically you're in these levels, 4 versus 4, and you've got you're shooting ink, and the team who shoots ink onto the map or battlefield, if you have more ink than your opposing team, you win. And then it was funny though, because at the end of this gameplay, it finally actually showed shooting other characters, where you kill the other characters or take out the other characters. Because at first you're like, I guess you don't even shoot the other team. But that one actually looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know, it looks like it has a lot of potential. Then at the very end, they had Miyamoto playing, it was kind of a blurred out screen, but he was playing Star Fox, and he was at the very end. And the cool thing is this 45-minute presentation, they're like, check out our Nintendo Twitch channel. We're going to have lots of great coverage throughout the week. So those were the main 3 conferences, guys. So overall, guys, I really enjoyed the big 3 conferences by Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Some would say that Sony won out of 3. Some would say that Microsoft won. Some would say that Nintendo won. Who won? That could be debated for years to come, but ultimately, I think most of you guys could agree that the gamers won. And man, it's just a great time to be a gamer. If you enjoyed this video, guys, definitely hit that thumbs up button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.